This podcast is rated MA. It may contain coarse language, sexual situations, and fantasy violence. It is not recommended for persons under 17.
Welcome to the 5th edition D&D podcast, The Rise of Tiamat and the Dragon Queen's Horde. Episode 2, Part 2, Greenhist in Flames. I am Andrew Felling, the Dungeon Master.
I am Kirk, and I'm playing Caradin, the Wood Elf Monk.
I am Mary, and I am playing Zelania, the Wood Elf Sorcerer.
And I am Seth, playing the Dragonborn Paladin.
In the last session, you had all made it to Greenhist, because you had uncovered a plot for something terrible to happen to the town. You weren't sure what. You found out exactly what, though, upon arrival, as a blue dragon and cultists who seemed to have hired on kobolds were in the middle of ransacking this town. You did everything you could to secure the village and get the townsfolk into the safety of the keep, or the relative safety of the keep, I should say, as it was actively being attacked by the adult blue dragon. However, as you all tried to get the rest of the townsfolk in through the very narrow old tunnel, this drew the attention of the dragon, and you were able to fend it off, as it seemed lackluster in its attack to begin with, and now that something was actively combating it, it fled like most bullies. And with that, you were able to make your way back inside the keep, where you hope you'll be able to rest. Upon making your way back in, with the townsfolk having herded so much in the front, you are the last few to come in, and standing down before you actually is the governor, and he is there, and he thanks you very emphatically. He's seemed to have gotten a few more cuts and bruises from the ongoing assaults, and he asks you, he's like, there's never going to be really a way for me to honestly repay you, but what can I get for you right now? What do you need?
Healing?
Healing be good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Actually, I'm only down 2 hit points.
I'm down
apparently.
8.
He
which is half of mine.
He nods and he says, he's like, yes, we've turned the Great Hall into a makeshift hospital. There are some healers that are there. I don't know how much magical healing they have left right now, as they've been very pushed to their limits. But I'm sure whatever they have, they will give to you.
Okay.
And with that, he turns and he kind of guides the crowd, as well as leading you all upstairs into the Great Hall, where people then are divided up into how serious their injuries are. 1 or 2 people were able to get away from the kobolds who were attacking, but others had already received grievous injuries, and that's why they were in the sanctuary to begin with, trying to hide. But with this new resurgence of medical professionals, you now have, it really is an active field hospital at this point, as opposed to before, where it was just kind of people holding and hoping.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we'll do here for you, Kirk, because you were actively asking about it. High or low?
High.
Okay. You're kind of deemed as not being that grievously injured, so one of the acolytes, he comes to you, and he does bandage you very well, and he does put a good stop to any and all bleeding, and puts you in some relative comfort. At this point in time, if you guys wanted to, you could try to take a rest.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
get back those spells.
I got them. Long rest.
So if we have time, if we can manage it, and if you guys can hold off for a while, long rest would be useful. Short rest would be fine.
Okay. Just so you know, a long rest is about 8 hours.
Right.
So, and you guys are...
Do we require 8 hours as elves, or is a...
Oh, so yeah, for you guys, it would just be
4 hours.
4 hours.
Oh.
So yeah.
I don't think I can get my spells back with a short rest, can I?
I don't know. We have to look. But you would require a full 8 as a Dragonborn.
I'll get my key back after a short or long, it says.
Okay, and short or long. So a short rest only takes like half hour of not being active, like sitting on a stone having lunch is a short rest.
Must spend at least 30 minutes of the rest meditating, which is that 4-hour mini thing. So, all good.
I need a long rest.
Okay.
A long winter's night's sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I could really. I'm completely out of spells that are useful. So
Yeah.
the long rest would be good.
We could shoot for that. And
And then if it doesn't
everything
happen,
blows
we'll,
up,
we'll
then-
deal with it. Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those like
laid plans.
it is very much like
stay here for a couple years.
they're very much viewing
plant a tree.
your shift as over because you've gone well above and beyond. There are people actively up on the walls,
We went more out and under than above and beyond, but that's fine.
up and away.
How much do we get? How many hit points do we get back on a extended, like a long rest? Do we get any back at all?
You
Your
do.
con modifier, or
You actually on a long rest you get full hit points back.
oh, then I don't need any healing.
On
On a short rest.
a short rest, you only get hit points back if you spend a hit die. So like right now you're level 2, so you have 2 hit die, and what'll happen is you can spend up to your pool.
Okay.
So 1 or 2, and what happens is you roll those, and you get that many hit points back.
Okay.
And when everything is said and done, you then when you take your long rest, you get half of your total pool of hit
Oh.
die also back. So like, let's say it's really grueling, and you
Right.
use all
Right.
your hit die, and then you rest. You will get half of those back. So hopefully, and that's kind of like if you get half of your missing back.
Okay.
So if you have continual just
Right.
terrible days, you're not getting
Right.
and then the rest you need.
Okay. Cool.
So, and you are sitting, you're resting for a couple of hours, about 5. Anyway, so you get about 5 hours of rest. So you got your full.
Okay.
You did not. I'm sorry. When you do hear this very loud, it wouldn't be deafening, but it would be just this enormous explosion or just crash from outside. And you then do hear what sounds like an active battle happening outside the front doors. And Escobert actually does come running down from the parapet up top, and he starts barking. It's like, "Everyone, we need you to get upstairs or get out there and fight. They've broken through. They are in the courtyard."
Oh,
Okay.
shit. All right. Mage armor. It's been more than 8 hours.
Yeah. Also,
Did I
you've
get
rest-
at least one
Right.
one spell slot back for 5 hours?
It's kind of an all or nothing thing.
Okay.
So it's one of those like that would be kind of cool if it was like a mana bar you healed up, but no, it's kind of an all or nothing thing because it's like you do the full rest, and then after you do the rest, there's prayer, and then after the prayer, there's preparation, and
At least I got my dragon breath back. That's something.
right. And I think you got a couple of other paladin things, just not spells.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh, during that rest, I would have liked to gotten 3 javelin to bring my quantity back up to 5. Would that have been possible?
easily. If you want,
Okay.
if you wanted a javelin, if you wanted a spear, short bow,
So
cross,
Would I have been able to refill my quiver?
yeah, quiver,
Okay.
like,
Oh, yeah.
Because I never had time to go retrieve any arrows.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Quiver can be refilled.
If my spear went with the dragon, I would need another one.
Your spear absolutely went with the dragon. I mean, good shot.
And I would like a dart if they have an extra dart.
Yeah, they got darts.
One.
I mean, any simple or mundane weapons they have there at the ready. Short swords, daggers, darts.
All good.
Yeah, so they do refill you as much as they can of things. As you guys make your way to the gate, Escobert actually stands in front of it, and he says, "No, not out this way." And he points and gives you other directions. He goes, we don't want to open the large doors. That'll be terrible. We need to give people time to escape." And you do. You kind of go out into the hall, and it kind of takes you along the inside of the wall, and then you kind of come out about halfway down the courtyard, and you see it looks like only like a medium-sized hole has been broken through, and only a couple of kobolds in an ambush drake have actively been able to claw their way in. But other kobolds and ambush drakes and cultists are actively trying to shove their way in and rip down the door. Out there, among everything, you do see a few guards and a halfling who seems to be actively trying to fix the door via the mending spell. And it seems to be the only thing preventing it from breaking. So we're just going to run right into initiative.
Pulling out my shield.
Yeah. And that is the thing. Like, you are well into the middle of the night. It's like 4 a.m. You're still a few hours from dawn.
I got a 14.
17.
19.
Numlock, do what I want.
Oh, I hate that. My mother always turns hers off, and I don't understand it. I'm like, why would you ever not use that?
When gaming and you're using it as your directional pad.
That's fine. I always have. I have a separate USB keyboard because I can't stand having not a separate section of arrows. But otherwise, like if you're just typing normally,
Oh, yeah, no, if
why
you're typing
would you
no-
ever
yeah.
not have numlock on? And every time I sit on my mom's computer, I always forget and like get halfway through something, and then weird things happen, and then I have to figure out. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine. Like, the only time you use it is like, oh, this game doesn't use a mouse at all. Well, in that case, these are going to be my move arounds, and this will be literally everything else.
Yeah.
Can I just get a mouse instead? Okay. Zell, you are up first. You see there are two guards who are attempting to handle the Drake. There are another 4 out there that are each kind of going toe to toe with kobolds, and and the halfling woman is actively casting spells trying to repair the broken door.
Okay. Then I'm gonna shoot whatever enemy happens to be closest to her.
Okay. That would be the kobold trying to get through the door.
Sounds good. Possibly not. I really don't want to hit her, so I rolled a 7.
Perfect.
Your arrow buries itself into the door, giving the kobold a little bit of pause. As he wasn't as before, he was just actively like pushing splinters and wood out of the way, but now there's an arrow, so now it seems to have almost given him more determination to crawl through, and whatever's behind him is now actively like shoving him. So it's like that weird cartoon where someone's from behind just
Pushing people through.
All right, Cespedes, your turn.
You said there's a Drake?
Yes, one of those very long. They're very long. Think like a Komodo dragon that actually looks like a Western dragon. No wings, huge claws, big gaping mouth.
No, I'm going to chop its head off.
I think you did that to the last one too, and it seemed to work pretty well. So,
All right. 18.
oh yeah, you hit it.
Where's my D8?
You know, I don't think I've ever hit anything in the first round of combat ever with this character yet.
It's called the warning shot.
I have
And
to start
your
building that
chaotic
into my
nature.
strategies. Yeah.
It's your chaotic nature.
Yeah, it's fine.
Could hit you. I'm not hitting you.
I
I'm
could
being
hit you,
crazy.
maybe.
I'm being crazy.
Not yet.
Hey,
It'll
I just
happen.
met you,
Just wait.
and this is crazy. But that's a warning shot. Don't fuck with me, baby. All right. Yeah, you join the two guards, and guards kind of a loose term. These were clearly pages
Dudes on duty.
that were
Whoever they could shove a sword into their hand and stay awake.
exactly. And you do see from above the not facing inwards, so as not hit their own people, but outwardly they've condensed the firepower from the parapet to be down directly onto the door. You almost kind of get the feeling like this is the one big last push in order to destroy the town now that everyone is centralized. Kobold's good turn. Oh, that is unfortunate. One kobold takes a guard to the ground and just perforates him. Another kobold gets his spear right underneath the chin strap and just...
I'll do it.
Jesus Christ. This kobold puts his spear through the guard and just pins him, through the stomach, back down onto the ground, and just leaves it there, drawing a very cruel-looking knife. That's kobold. Misses.
He
That's
was
good. We didn't have any
admiring
more
the
guards
handiwork
for
of
him to
his
kill.
fellows. He was like, "Oh yeah, wow, you guys really got this." Oh great, shit.
There
I
are
was
3 other
fighting.
guards left.
Oh, 3. Oh, okay.
Two are
Okay.
with you fighting the Drake, and there is the one who learned to dodge.
and then the little halfling woman as well.
Yeah, she's fine. Nothing is actively attacking her.
Okay.
She just kind of seemed to be putting everything she can into reinforcing the door and trying to use her magic as well as while she repairs it to shove things back out and through. There are knives and bolts and arrows that are coming in, but with so many creatures crammed up into the door and with it actively being resealed by her, they're all just going wide and all over the place. It's kind of like if you put like a steel plate about 10 feet out from a shotgun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything around it's terrible, but everything immediately behind that steel plate is fine. And she's luckily right behind that steel plate.
Yeah.
Carradine, you're next.
All right. Are there any creatures in a hole that need to be cleared so the door could reseal up a little better?
Plenty. And there's the one kobold that she tried to shoot. It's actively making its way through, and it is able to, and it is slowly crawling its way through.
I'll spear him.
Okay. Yeah, roll advantage. He's all kinds
16?
of... Yeah, okay, you hit.
No, 20-something. And that is 9 points of damage.
You shove your spear through him, and forcing him back through the hole, bringing your spear back, and this allows the mending spell to gain a little bit of headway, but there's still, like, almost immediately as it starts to seal a little bit from down here, the next kobold sticks its head up.
I'm going to punch him. That's a natural 20.
Okay.
So that is only a d4. That's 8 points of damage.
And you
Do I roll it twice, or how does that work with
so
natural 20?
with a natural 20, what you do is whatever dice you rolled, you roll that again.
Okay.
Any flat number,
9.
any flat number you have, you only add once.
Okay.
Are you taking out its heart, Temple of Doom style?
It's more like impromptu
eyes.
whack-a-mole, because it's stab, and he knew that because it's literally you're looking out there, and it is just a wall of bodies trying to mar its way in here, and so you just knew it was coming up, and the second it came up, you just knocked it right, and it just went. If you want, there's another. This time it's one of the cultists. He's got his arm in there, and he's trying to rip and hack away at the door to make it open up some more.
I'm out of... I don't want to use a key just yet.
Okay.
I'll have to save that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just in case.
Either way, both of your attacks did allow for the door to mend up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. It is now the Drake's turn.
Stupid Drake.
Yeah, he was definitely going for one of them first because they were up in his shiat. His mouth comes down heavily around the upper torso and neck of one of the pages and just renders him down immediately into like this ragdoll lump.
It's not good.
2 left.
It's like you're treating them like hit points. Okay, so now we're back to the top. It is Zell.
Are there a couple of kobolds that are right next to each other, like inside the courtyard, not coming through the door?
Yeah, there were two that were next to each other. I'll say they're within 10 feet of each other.
Not close enough. That's fine. I need them 5 feet from each other. I need them like adjacent to hit them both. Otherwise, I'm just going to shoot one.
Okay.
Use the rolling pad.
Well, I got a 2 either way, so no.
New target, new warning. Okay, we understand.
Yeah. He killed the other one, so I had to, make sure that one knew what was coming.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, so moving on.
You're giving my victims a fighting chance.
Yeah.
Cespedes, it's your turn. See, what you do is you follow the arrow, and that's how you know which target to attack.
It's a tracer.
I'm really blind. No one knows it yet. You hear the whistle?
Something's over there.
Phosphorescent arrowheads. Look, it's just tracer fire. Tracer fire. It's fine.
Kill the
16.
Drake.
16, yes, hits Drake.
Die, Drake. 6 points damage.
Okay. Again, you because you're using just a longsword and shield.
Longsword and shield.
Okay. Again, you do a hefty blow to its neck, and you've now gained its attention from its meal.
Hey.
He's looking at you, kid. The kobolds going to. Let's see, we've got. One's going to definitely attack his current. Oh, no.
Goodbye.
That guy's down. Kobold's got him, he does a kind of like a fake pump with his spear. The guy goes to do a big block. Kobold draws a knife out of his boot and just catches him in the spine. The other two, the one that you shot is going to come at you.
Bring it, tiny thing.
That's what kobolds sound like, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Exactly.
17?
Sure.
Remember, you do have your mage armor on.
I know.
Okay.
With mage armor, my AC is 16. So.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Gives you a ring.
That is too big of a die. For 3 points of damage as he comes, just spinning in with his little dagger. Just you feel like you embody chaos. No, you can learn something from him. Because the whole time, like while he's swinging with his dagger, which gives you a few little nicks, he's also like swinging a sling around, but he's not actually like attacking with it.
There's no rock in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's just whipping it back and forth.
It's just pantyhose.
Actually, it's a belt. you don't know who we got it from.
Makes it look bigger.
All right.
There's a cultist out there with his pants down. Damn, where's my belt?
His robes are now flapping around because he lost his belt.
It's just a tarp that's not covered up. Marilyn Monroe it. Woo! What's going on?
One of the kobolds comes running up to the Drake, attempting to hit you from behind, Seth, or Cespedes, and you actually feel him plink his dagger off, like, your hip armor. And he looks at it, and he looks back up at you. That didn't go according to plan.
Did he get to roll advantage on that as well?
No, he did not. He
Behind.
So kobolds have pack tactics, and then on top of that they have bonuses for sneak attack stuff, and I mean, like everything went for him with this, and he struck solidly, but it didn't get through your armor. The third free kobold actually does go up and attempt to take on the halfling woman. And he does. He comes up leaping onto her back, knife drawn, and just very viciously buries like his dagger almost up to its hilt in her back.
Wow.
The one smart. All right, so next we go to Carradine.
All right. I am going to... Does anyone else want to help the halfling out?
Oh, I was planning on it.
Okay. Then I will continue taking people out of the door. Well, I guess if she stopped, it's not going to matter. I will go after the kobold that was on Cespedes.
Okay.
9.
No.
Nope. I need a beer.
We're great at this.
See, what we're all learning here is that attacking an unaware enemy from behind never goes well. You must do it with honor to their face.
Except I'm pretty sure everything else we attacked last session we snuck up on, so...
Yeah.
That's
That was last session. This is this session.
fair enough. Everything changes. It's fine.
Yep.
Roll with it.
Okay. So now we are back to the Drake. It's going to take a bite out of you. I don't think it's going to work. Does a 16 hit?
No, I've got 20 right now.
Okay. It kind of rears up, swiping with both of its front paws. Would lizards have paws?
I'm not sure what the technical term for that would
Claws.
be.
Yeah, with it slicing at you with its forearms and
but
claws, and they just seem to rake across the front of your shield. So, Zell, we're back up to you.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, wait. Forgot about the halfling. She takes exception to the kobold being on her. She shrugs him off, and yeah, she'll do that because that sounds like a fun spell. You see icy crystals attempt to form around the kobold, but he's able to shake them off. So now Zell, it's your turn.
Okay. This time, I'm going to stick out my tongue at the kobold right next to me, and then ignore him and shoot the other one, and Tides of Chaos to cancel out my disadvantage.
Okay, so...
I'm not shooting the one next to me, but there's a hostile enemy, which would normally give me disadvantage. Tides of Chaos gives me advantage.
Right.
Cancel
but
that.
also, just so you know, when you fire into combat, the people are considered to have cover, so he does have a +2 to his AC.
Okay.
Right.
It's fine.
I'm just letting you know where all the numbers are coming from.
Yes.
So later on, when you go like, hey, well, my 15 didn't hit, but his 14 does this time, or something like that.
That's fine. All right. It's at 15.
Yeah, you he was too busy scraping off crystal. He's standing still long enough to scrape off the ice that seemed to be forming, and you're like, haha, not a moving target.
You take 6 points of damage.
6 points. And yes, you do. You bury the arrow squarely into the back of his skull, and he just face plants down. The ice actually does continue to then form up and around him as her spell was continuing to go.
I sort of laugh and go like, yeah, to the one right next to me.
You actively go, tee-hee. All right, Cespedes.
Let's take down that Drake.
Probably a good idea.
12.
No, you go for the Drake, and it just bobs its head just right to the left of your blade. It is now Kobold turns. The Kobold that was... Let's see, so we got...
There's one on me.
3 left. Because there's the one on you, there's the one that you were fighting, and then there's the one who just finally killed his buddy. Or the guard he was fighting. So the one that was killing the guard...
Wasn't there one on Cespedes as well?
Yes.
That's the one I was fighting.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You moved over.
And you got the one on the halfling?
I got the one on the halfling. Yeah.
So there's 4. These kobolds must have been given a mission or something, because he goes right for the halfling woman, catches her. He doesn't do nearly as much damage as his other buddy did, probably because she knew it was coming this time. But still, she's looking pretty beaten up. Just because the first knife is still in her back, and now this new one just seems to cut low across her abdomen.
She gonna die.
She's bleeding very heavily.
I can't fix that door.
And you hear just more cracks coming as the door continues to break further and further down.
My magic not so great at fixing things. I'm real good at breaking them. Not so great at fixing them.
So,
Or setting them on fire.
Keep going.
Or melting them in acid.
So the one that was on you is going to attack you again. 19.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. For 5 points of damage.
You suck.
And the thing is, like, he stabs you, and then he starts pointing at like the next target. And you can see he's pointing at like his buddy who's just stabbed the woman again. He's pointing right at that guy, like, yeah, kill that guy.
Yeah. It'll happen.
Ooh, the kobold took exception to
being swung at.
being swung at, and he goes for your grundle. And does 5 points of damage, because when you near min crit,
It's all right.
that is 1 point above min crit.
He almost ripped off your grundle.
It's a fun word. No one uses
It's
it
a
much.
great word, yeah.
Because you go grundle, and everyone goes, ah! But it's PC, so you can put it... not PC, it's a...
Kid friendly.
Yeah, what is it? It's rated G, rated... it's rated P. It's PG, so you can put it in...
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyways, so... Carradine, it's your turn.
The little guy just stabbed me. Going after him.
He tried to tap your taint.
22.
Yes, that hits.
No one taps my taint. 7 points of damage.
And you just... You do the same thing to him, but your spear's bigger than his knife.
Is the one that's on the half... You all right? Is the one that's
crying.
on the
I'm
halfling
crying.
close enough to kick?
Yes, it's closer for you to move. So what you have to... So something to note is you can move in the middle of your attacks.
Okay. So I can move it to 45 feet.
Right. You're right now in the middle of the courtyard, which means you can hit the whole courtyard.
Okay. Does an 11 hit?
No, it just misses. And I mean,
Stomp
like,
next to him.
it's a matter of, like, you kick and you flick his ear, which does, like, no real damage, but he's still, like, holding it. All right. It is now the Drake's turn.
So the Drake went.
So, no. Cespedes, the Drake goes to lunge like at your legs, and you just are easily able to step out of the side, and it's just neck is just right there, right at waist level, fully bare.
Ooh,
Nice.
Primed.
So roll your attack of opportunity.
Do it.
Do it.
23.
Yeah,
Nice.
that does it. That is a hit.
And, oh my, I even rolled max damage 12.
Nice.
And you do, in fact, lop its head off very cleanly.
It was teasing.
Thank you, dragon. Thank you.
The page boy, who hadn't really been doing much, is very bolstered by this attack. And he just kind of lets out like a very cracky, cry of victory.
Yeah.
I thought for sure it was going to kill me.
I survived. I'm gonna live.
Not dying a virgin.
Oh.
All right. So is the Drake. Now it is Zell. It is your turn. You've got there's the kobold that is attacking the woman, or the halfling woman, and there is the kobold who is attacking you.
Right.
And the door is beginning to crack a little bit more, and and more creatures are starting to try to force their way through.
Right. So I'm gonna still shoot the one that's on her. This time I can't fix the disadvantage part. So.
No, you cannot.
But I got a 14 to hit. That's not.
I
gonna
need
hit,
you
is it?
to roll me a d6.
6.
It misses everybody. So there is an actual rule called hitting the cover. And if you miss something, but only because of the cover,
Nice.
it hits that instead. So with her 16 attack,
Yep.
it just barely misses him. But then there's the question of like, well, would that have hit you?
Stop
Would that
helping
have-
me.
So this is how you get that whole firing into combat,
Yep.
possibly hurting your buddies.
Nice.
Yeah.
How'd your character die? Friendly fire.
Took a spell to the head.
Fucking Mary.
In this case, it was an arrow. It's fine.
How did your
Fine.
character
Everything's fine.
die? Splash damage.
Yeah. That just happened before, though, so
Oh, it has.
Yeah.
it's not totally unheard of.
No. I've had a character die that way. That was. I held a grudge. It's fine. I blame Jeff.
I've had something reflect my own fireball back at me, but it went behind me, but it still had enough radius to get back up to me and kill me.
Nice. At least it didn't like throw you onto spears of the other end. I survived. I live. Bam. I die.
Anyways, so Cespedes, it is your turn. There are 2 kobolds, but now another Drake is actively tearing through and making good progress through the door.
All right, so if I use my dragon breath through the door, how many things can I hit?
Including the door, a lot.
Yeah, you don't want to shatter
Let's
the door.
do that.
No, but
You'll shatter the
then you
door.
break the door.
Oh, the lightning will break the door?
Yeah. Can he get up close enough to?
He'd have to shove his head through, which would mean he'd have to get the Drake out of the way.
That's not good.
Like if he wants to do it, I won't stop him. And
No, I'll just cut this Drake's head off too.
Okay, you do get advantage with this one because it's just out there waggling in the breeze.
All right, 16
That hits.
and 6 points of damage.
All right, you do a good amount of damage, but I mean these Drakes are hardy and their heads take more than one swing. So next,
Kobolds.
Yes, kobolds. So we have the one kobold who's going to.
Did I draw its attention off of her?
Maybe I'll have to roll that. You get hit.
Wait. Because I'm going to cast shield this time when he hits me.
Okay.
Nice.
Does that give him disadvantage or just give you one more armor?
Gives me an extra 5 points of AC.
Okay,
so
cool.
up to 21.
22.
Oh.
All right.
For another 5 points of damage.
Damn.
Okay.
And again, he's back pointing at his buddy, like you had already shot at. Like,
What are you down to now?
3.
Oh shit. You have a healing potion on you?
Yeah.
All right.
the other one, you actually did get its attention, and is going to. Ooh, okay.
Better me than her.
It loves that ear. It actually had an earring in there, and you kicked the earring out.
My
and
my back's gone.
It's gone. Fuck. Okay. And he just buries the dagger into your knee and just takes it up your side. You take 10 points of damage.
Wow.
Holy crap.
and it's just screaming bloody murder. I mean, you better go find that earring.
That was a nice earring.
Down to 6.
Do you speak Draconic at all?
No, I took Dwarven.
Okay. Do you?
I speak Draconic.
Okay.
I do.
Anyone who speaks Draconic, just you hear like it started off as the most vulgar cuss you had ever heard that has just changed into blood curdling screams.
Okay.
He's livid with you.
I turn around to you. What did you do to that guy? Other than try to kill him.
Yeah, that didn't seem to bother him so much,
Yeah.
but that earring. Yeah, so now it is Carrot's turn.
All right. That is a 14.
That hits.
10 points of damage.
Back at you.
And you just take your spear, and again, you just threw like his collarbone down out his side, pinning him to the ground. Just again, pop goes the kobold.
Okay. I'm going to race over to the ones on her and totally miss with a 1.
I was going to say, with this one, you actually wouldn't quite be able to get close enough in this one turn because she was still very far back, and you have to next turn you'd be able to get there no problem.
Okay.
All right. Now it is the Drake who is going to attempt to bite the thing that swung at it. I'm sorry, what was your AC? You said 22 is yours?
20.
20. He gets you then. Wow. 7 points of damage as he just manages to bite onto your arm and just kind of like rip and rend. But as he's doing this, he's kind of forced back a little bit as the hole starts to seal up again, as the halfling goes back to her spell, barely able to stand, almost like on one knee. So now we go back to the top. Zell.
Okay, this time I'm mad, and I am going to drop the bow and pull out the longsword and cut this fucker's head off. I hit it. I rolled an 18.
Yes, you hit it.
4.
You don't quite cut its head off, but you do give it this nasty scar down its body. And he just looks up at you, like, not just physically hurt, but emotionally, because you guys had a game, and you're no longer playing the game.
No.
Gives you the teary eyes.
He's just...
I hate you. I hate you and your mother and everything about you. And I realize that I'm saying this in a language you don't understand, but fuck it.
You're a bum. Your dad was a bum. Your mom was a bum. Your whole family's a bum.
I'm yelling at him in Sylvan. It's nobody understands.
Just back in Draconic, it's just these growls and
Yeah.
and hiths, is just like, he's like, but it's all like very whimpery.
Yeah, well,
It's the world's longest paper cut. Ow. It's gonna leave
Cespedes, you are up.
Kill it.
All right.
Do it.
I am going. Do I still have advantage on this guy?
Yeah, because it's just his head, and his head. It's kind of like a dog almost when when they get their heads like rolled up in a window. That's kind of what's happening to him right now.
25
That's a hit.
and 8.
Okay, and you are just marring up his face more and more. But he's got chipped teeth and a bloody nose, but still very angrily thrashing about. Your kobold friend he's gonna attack you because you hit him, and he's there's no joy. He's like, just pathetically dropping his. It is an attack, but just not just real wide, very short.
at a certain point, I'm standing there, sword in one hand, but hands on hips, like. I'm not having fun anymore.
Neither is he.
Sounds like a budding friendship. I just can't fight with you anymore. Let's be friends. Okay.
All right,
Roll persuasion.
You want some gum? I got some gum. Would you like a gummy bear? They've been in my pocket all day. They're warm.
That makes them extra chewy. If you put them up between your teeth, it makes it look like your gums are bleeding. All right. Carrot, it's your turn.
All right.
You've got the Drake in the wall and the sad kobold.
Before I rush off, I'm going to ask her if she needs a healing potion. The halfling.
halfling.
She spits up a little bit of blood and says, maybe later.
Then I'm going to rush to the door and start. I want to try and stab the Drake. Fuck it.
All right.
Not with that. 10.
Roll with advantage because it's basically trapped in the door.
I got worse.
Okay. So it's just a 10.
Roll the 4 and a 2.
So you kind of run up and you stab at the door. So
Trying to keep your way out of her hands. You don't want to hit anything. It's a whole.
well, I mean, she's like 15, 20 feet back.
Oh, okay.
Applying magic to the door. So if the door breaks, she has time to run.
Right.
All right.
Drake? Nope.
Yeah, the Drake gets to attack. He's going to go after the guy who's been hitting it. But not well, because as the door continues to form more and more, and he's kind of blocked a lot of the attackers because of his sheer size, and it is like actively healing up, or the door is healing up around his head, and he's getting less and less mobility with it. Zell, it's your turn. You and the sad kobold.
Well, and I'm going to do exactly the thing that I did before.
Oh, roll intimidation. Get him to it. Get him to quit. It's like slap at him. Knock it off. Smack him on the nose. Bad kobold.
Maybe you could have a little pet. He could
Bad
live on your
kobold.
shoulder.
Got it.
Sit.
Totally.
Would she do it? She's chaotic enough to do it?
Yes.
You're a
You
bad
could have a
kobold.
little
Flat
pet.
of the sword,
A little pet.
like a newspaper on
Smack him on the
his
head.
face. Just sit.
Is it an attack? Is it intimidate? Which?
It's an intimidate.
Okay, roll an intimidate.
Fuck it.
You take different kind of trophies. This reminds me of another game we did that.
Oh yeah.
We had a cart
I have
full
a
of
kobold pet.
emotionally defeated enemies that we carried around from town to town. It was a motley crew.
14. It's not great.
Okay.
Beat them down until one of them loses their morale and make them join us. Gave them jobs. So do you
Okay.
beat it off?
So she, and you do. You take the flat of your sword and you whap it on the nose, and he does. He just goes, well, we'll resolve him on his turn. So
He's looking shocked and hurt. Like, oh,
Bad kobold.
different game. I don't know about this. Kill it.
Nope.
you have advantage, right?
Oh, no, I forgot about that.
Yeah. If you're attacking the thing in the door, you have advantage.
Yay, good thing. 22.
Yes, that hits.
12. No, 10, excuse me.
Okay. Either way, that is enough to again lop this thing's head off.
Nice.
So we're going to then move back to the kobold. The kobold then back, still holding its weapon, but back to you in common goes. But he doesn't attack you anymore.
I was going to say, don't hit me either. It's fine. Just stop.
He's just. It's not cowering, but he's very much toddlering. Like,
I offer it a berry.
roll a persuasion.
No. I got an 8.
Just throw it at him.
He takes it.
No,
He eats it.
I got a 9, actually. A 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
He takes it. He eats it. Just he's not actually even saying words at this point.
It's fine. It's fine.
But the back to the action. The hole does proceed to seal, and nothing else is able to come. Now that the hole is closed, you still hear hammering on it. So I'm going to give kind of one quick round of what do people want to do while it's being hammered upon. So we'll start at the top. Zell.
I drink a healing potion.
Okay.
They are, what, 2d4?
2d4 plus
2d4
4.
plus 4.
2d4 plus 4. Yep.
Oh, good. That's most of what I was missing.
The kobold sees you like pop out this flask and drink it, and just all of a sudden your wounds start closing. He goes, and like he's kind of like looking at his knife and looking back at you. Like it's almost like a slow approach with it. If you don't stop him, he is going to try to poke you with his knife.
No, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm like, bad kobold. Bad. Stop it.
And again, just over his muzzle.
8 and 3 is 11. Okay. All right.
Cespedes, you would be next up. What would you like to do?
I'm going to do the same. Drink my potion. Where's my 4?
Carradine?
4 dagger.
I'm going to run up to the parapet and see if there's a bow and arrow around that I can pick up a longbow.
Okay, it is going to take you more than 1 round to get there, and so you do a dash, which is a double move, which for you is effectively 90 feet.
Yeah.
Carradine, as you are running up the stairs, you get about halfway up them, and you do see Escobert. He's running down. He's got 5 guys with him. They've got hammer, nail, timber, and other just large things. He looks, hey, where are you going? Like, because you're kind of like, it's kind of like tight, so you're kind of blocked in.
I'm going to go shoot them with arrows.
All right, okay. Like they kind of like they kind of like flatten
need a
themselves to
longbow.
let you get around. On what would be the next round, on the next round, you're able to get up there. You're able to get your bow. You're able to look out over it, and what you see is the guys who've been up top from the parapet who were shooting down into that sally port, because you had to go through. You have the main gate, the sally port, and then the gate that you were just defending against. That area there in the middle, since they didn't have the dragon going out of there, they were able to really concentrate that fire down. And there's still a couple of cultists and kobolds and a drake or two pinned down in there. But for the most part, it's pretty cleared out. Everything else has retreated back beyond the main gate.
Okay.
And the governor's up there, and he looks at you, and he goes, "We're going to reinforce the gate. But if there was ever a time to take the sally port, it would be now." And he kind of like looks at you was saying this with assurance, but he doesn't actually like order you to go do it.
Okay.
He himself actually walks over and begins to strap a shield to his broken arm.
Okay.
I'm going to try to trade the kobold an empty bottle of gin for his knife.
It's empty.
Yeah, mostly empty. There may be a little bit left. I was saving for a rainy day.
Let's roll this out. So you're down there. You're talking to the kobold. So what do you do?
I'm like, all right, here, give me that. Here, here, look. Ooh, trade. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
What is it?
It's delicious alcohol. It's gin. Gin. It's called gin.
Mine.
Yes, I'll give you this if you give me that. No.
Every time you get aggressive, he just covers his muzzle and just goes.
No. Trade.
They'll kill me. No, mine.
Well, they'll kill you.
Persuasion.
Am I close enough? Am I close enough to walk over to it and tell it that if it doesn't give it to her, I'll eat him?
In just a minute.
I only got an 8.
All right.
I don't actually I'm regretful about parting with this alcohol. Apparently, being less convincing than I could be.
You're eyeballing it.
He's not really buying what you're selling.
Yeah, I know. It's fine.
But yeah, Suspicious, if you want to come up and attempt to intimidate the kobold, you may. Because threatening to eat something is definitely a intimidation.
18.
He starts to look at... he's not like... He's kind of like not really holding a grasp on it anymore, but he's not handing it over either, and he's just over and over just saying, "But it's mine."
In Draconic, I just tell him, "Give it here." Rip it out of his hand. I don't know what it is, though, by the way.
It's just a dagger.
It's a dagger.
Oh.
I look a little bit sad. I'm like, "Here you go," and hand him the gin bottle because that was mean.
He takes the gin bottle and like immediately starts like bartering for his knife back. He's like on his knees chasing you as you walk around. Your mouth, true, your mouth. I'm actually gonna roll a persuasion for him. He's just so pathetic. I'll let you decide how you react, but like he does have a negative. Total, he would have gotten a 17.
That's pretty good.
So while this is happening, time out while this is happening.
Yeah.
You guys see Escobert. He does come running down with out of the door that you had seen Carabin previously run into. And he and his guys, they have nails and timbers, and they're just sealing and reinforcing. And one of them runs over to like a fallen cart and rolls that over in front, and they're just doing everything they can to barricade and reinforce that door. And once they finish, and as they're doing this, and once it's been well underway, the young halfling woman does actually then collapse onto the ground. Now, the kobold was trying to trade you for his knife.
I pick up my bow off the ground. Go collect some of the arrows I've lost.
All right, he was pathetic enough and rolled high enough that I'll give it back to him, but I'm gonna still threaten him in Draconic that if he attacks anyone here, that I'm gonna eat him.
He like puts he just grovelingly he takes the knife and he holds it close to him, just kind of very grovelingly. He leans forward and just starts petting your foot.
I kick him off.
He rolls away and he just kind of like sits where he is, just watching everyone now. Like, what the fuck do I do? So, Carradine, we're back up to you at the top. It only took like a minute or two for the governor to strap the shield to him, and he does. He goes and then picks up a spear and starts hobbling his way down the stairs.
I guess we're going to do that. I need to heal myself. So while he's putting that all on, I'm going to drink my potion.
Okay.
It's 10. It's a little better. All right.
Okay. And then you follow him down?
Yeah.
He goes down and he gets to the door way that you had previously entered, and you do see that there is a hall that does continue to go down further. And he looks at you and goes, I believe between you, myself, and the rest of your team, we should be able to, at the very least, drive what's back out from its hiding places so my men can shoot it down, at which point in time we can take the Sallyport.
Okay.
And he does. He turns around and he calls out to you and to Zell and Cespedes, asking for you to come. The halfling woman, who had been lying down very bloody, sits up and starts to support herself on her staff and actively starts coming towards you, going, you're gonna need someone to fix that door too. So from here you guys are able to make your way further around to the Sallyport. And in there, in the time it had taken you to get from up there, from up top to down, to get into what would be kind of a ambushy spot almost, because you're able to see that many of the kobolds that you'd seen before, they are now dead, as are the 2 remaining ambush drakes. Okay. There are just a few. There's one of those guys who'd been clad in the leather, and 3 of the cultists who are hunkered down in a few spots, just trying to avoid any and all arrows. And there's just this waterfall of arrows and rocks coming down, so where they can be is very limited.
Right.
And this is when the governor turns to you and goes, okay, if we run and we hit that group right there, we can easily knock them, my men can take them out, and then he points to the group of the kobolds. He goes, then we can take out the others at their leisure. Once I raise up my shield, my men will stop firing and we'll be safe.
Okay.
And then he looks at the halfling woman. He goes, Miranda, your number 1 priority is to reseal the gate. We will do everything we can to protect you.
Is she still hurt really badly?
Yeah. She still hasn't pulled the knife out of her back because she can't reach it, and no one's gotten it for her.
Should I heal her?
She would like that. If you are offering,
Good.
she will take it.
How many should I give her, guys?
How many can you give?
10.
Do 5. And
Yeah, I was
see
gonna
how it
say,
goes.
yeah, it's half is
5.
It's better than nothing
All right.
for us later.
As you reach out and you heal her wounds, this actually does push the dagger up out of her back, in which she kind of like lets out like it's almost painful on its retract out of her.
Right, but then your lungs works again.
Yes. And she's able to move her arms, which allows her to cast better. And she does turn to you once it's all said and done, just going, "Oh, thank you. That feels so much better. Just had this amazing splitting pain in my back."
I can't imagine what it was.
And she starts like circulating her shoulders.
I've got the bow stowed, sword in hand, just so we know.
Okay. So we're gonna give you guys a surprise round, and then we'll fall into an initiative.
Okay.
The door is only 1 wide, and the governor is basically insisting on being the one up front. He's got his shield pressed up against it, and as soon as he opens the door, his plan is to just bum rush the kobolds. So we're going to start with him, and then we'll just go down the initiative order and where people land.
Okay.
So he does. He knocks open the door. He goes running out, just full body behind the shield, actually leaping, catches one of the kobolds in the back, and does in fact shove him out into the falling rocks and arrows, where he's immediately dispatched. And the others near him are the other 3 kobolds, who are also just kind of like huddling next to this barrel, are immediately taken back by surprise. So then following down the line, it then goes, Zell, what would you want to do?
I toss. They're all packed together, right?
Yeah,
So I can toss an acid splash and hit 2 of them.
easily.
Okay. They make dex saves.
One of them I know fails.
It's a 13. So.
Okay, one makes, one fails.
Okay. Well, it's 3 points of damage or 1 point of damage, I guess.
Okay, so that would be 1, 2, 3. All right. Next would be Cespedes.
20.
That is a hit.
And
Are you doing a shove like what the governor did, or are you just running up and hitting somebody with a sword?
yeah, I'm gonna just with my shield like see how many I can knock out there.
You'll be able to get one.
All right, 1.
Okay, but yes, with that as a shove, you easily shove him out, and again, death rains on him. Carradine, your turn. There are 2 kobolds who have been recently acided.
Okay.
They have a higher acidity.
Whichever one doesn't look like he got hit as bad.
Okay,
That is a 17
that is a hit.
and 9 points of damage.
Okay, and you charge up, spear him very efficiently. No issues there. If you want to, because you did use your spear attack and you are a monk, the other one is right next to him. You can
Okay.
give him a love tap.
20.
That is a hit.
6 points of damage.
Okay. The kobold is immediately dispatched. No problems there. And the cultists and the guy in the armor start to, now becoming aware of your presence, seem to start to ready themselves within their hiding place. And the governor moves out, like, shield above his head as high as he can go out into the
Death zone.
and actually is struck by 1 or 2 rocks and an arrow while trying to show his shield. But the damage is not enough to take him out. And they do. And immediately you hear a voice from above like, "It's the governor! Ceasefire! Stop! Stop! Stop!" And with that screaming of stops, once the death zone stops, Miranda immediately runs out and starts casting mend. And the door, which was in a much farther form of disarray, does begin to piece itself back up and together. And it's going to take some time. And you do see that there are, from this angle, there are cultists and kobolds on the other side who then begin to pick up like, oh, hey, there's something going on in there now, and the death rain has stopped. So now we're going to fall back into regular initiative order. It is Zell. You're up first.
Okay. So is there still a clear line of sight on somebody who looks armored or cultisty or tall and humany?
Yeah. The 3 cultists and the armored guy are all kind of gathered together over in this second spot.
Okay. I'm going to toss firebolt at the armored guy.
Okay.
I got a 18 to hit him.
Yep. You hit him squarely in the chest.
He takes 10 points of fire damage.
And it just explodes on his chest, knocking him back, almost making him drop his shield, but he is still standing and breathing very heavily.
And his clothing is singed.
Very so. His chain mail is actually even heated, like in red, right there on the chest where you'd made contact.
His little goatee is starting to crisp.
Actually, he didn't have a goatee.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
fine.
He had the mustache twirl.
Oh, well, if it was waxed, it's definitely on fire.
Cespedes, you're up.
12.
Were you going for the cultist or the armored guy?
Oh, the cultist.
Okay, you hit.
Whoa. 10.
Yeah, you come running up and you just bury your sword deep in him and just kick him off and back into his 2 compatriots who were behind him.
Yes.
The man in the armored guy now steps up, and he's mostly trying to take the path of least resistance, so he actually throws one of the cultists at you. And succeeds. Hold on, I gotta figure out a rule for this. Okay, I need you to make a strength check. Essentially what you're doing is you're avoiding being knocked over.
21.
Yeah. The cultist falls on you, and you just kind of like bat him to the side. And the leather armor guy uses this as the opportunity to... He did that to effectively negate the attack of opportunity that you would have gotten while he tries to run out the door. He's not quite able to make it across the whole way, but he is actively fleeing.
It's fine. I'm going to put a matching burn mark on the back of his armor, because I got 120 feet of range on that. So
Yeah, it'll be fun.
it's fine. It's fine. Balance things out, which normally I don't like to do.
Carradine, it's your turn.
I'm just going to go up to the other cultist.
Oh, I should have made you roll the fun. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
8.
I've cast like 2 first level spells
Okay.
so far.
Yeah, you miss. Sorry. I got too many things going on in my head right
It's
now.
all right.
So now the cultists who have the two of you in front, the one that you kind of like batted to the side, Suspicious, he's going to take a stab at you, and misses because he wasn't prepared for any of this. Curse his evil companion's sudden but inevitable betrayal.
Melee range. This isn't where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. And the other one takes a stab at you, Carradine, dealing 6 points of damage. Oh, sorry, 5. 5 points of damage.
All right.
It helps if I can read numbers. Now we're back to the top. Zell.
Okay, I'm gonna do like I said. Throw another firebolt at this guy's back. Cause fuck that guy. Also, don't run away from my spells.
Run away from me? That's right.
I only rolled a 12.
That is a miss.
Yeah, I figured. Okay.
The governor stands up from his launching of himself, moves around to be in front of Miranda, and starts shielding her as rocks and arrows begin to come in from the outside. Ooh, that would be kind of funny if that happened to him. One of his companions on the other side of the gate actually does, because they're just launching everything in there, does manage to hit him. And he gets an arrow to the chest. Because you put that big red target right there, just right there in the middle of it. It's pretty sweet. And he falls down.
Ha! See, I meant to miss, because I knew that would happen. Not really, but this is way cooler. I am talking to myself.
Now it is Cespedes.
I'm going to try to heave a javelin at the back of that dude that's running away.
He's dead. One of his friends shot him.
I'm going to pretend that he dodged my firebolt, and that's why he got shot.
Oh, I thought the governor was the guy that got shot.
No. The governor has taken like full defensive behind his shield and is doing everything. Like his defense is a little bit higher than what it would normally be.
All right. Okay, then I'll just take this cultist out for running into me.
Ew, he touched me.
Yeah. 19.
Yeah, that hits.
And 6 damage.
He's still standing. Your sword kind of got tangled up in a whole lot of robe.
This is the one that's missing his belt.
Yeah.
There was
I need to
extra
sharpen
flapping.
this thing.
Yeah, so he's kind of like stumbling. He's doing everything he can to not fall onto the ground, which is also kind of like why you ended up missing and why there was a big billow of robe going on and around him. He's making himself large to scare off predators.
This makes excellent sense because Cespedes will eat a people.
Yes.
All right, he's going to attack you back. Not with that roll. And Carradine, one's going to come at you.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, not with that roll.
Okay.
Carradine, is your turn.
All right. Cultists, 25.
Yes, that is a hit.
And 10 points of damage.
Yeah, you get the one that was right in front of you and just stab him right in the chest with the spear.
Okay.
Making an excellent anchor for you to then counterbalance your weight to hit the other guy.
Okay. 16.
That hits.
And 5 points of damage.
And you're kind of... You get the counterbalance from the other one, which is enough to kind of like really swing your leg up, and you just move. It just kind of like barrels through all of the cloak and everything, and just kicks him right in the chin,
Nice.
sending him down. Miranda continues to cast her mending spell, doing what she can to close the door. But again, these were large gates, and it's just taking as much time. It's just taking time. The governor actually requests, like, quick, bring barrels, build a small barricade for us to be behind. As he is holding his broken arm and shield up there, the parapet has now started extending their range out a little bit further to fire in front of the gate in hopes of dispersing those masses some more. Zell.
I'm gonna toss some fire at something that looks like an enemy that I can see.
Okay. It's really just, again, it's kind of like this, kind of before where you had the mass pressed up against. This is very much like, I wouldn't call them lines because they're too disorganized, but there's just, there's a target over there. So this is almost swarm tactics at this point.
Right.
So
Right.
Roll an attack and I'll let you know if it hits something.
Probably not. I got an 11.
You kind of like misgauge how far you were supposed to go because the cultists are actually down a little bit of a hill, so you tried to compensate down in order to hit them, and you just ended up shooting into the ground, exploding right in front of one of the archers.
Yeah.
So again, it's that warning shot. But
Take
now I need you to roll a d20.
Okay. This is a 0 level spell.
You used your Tides of Chaos, so now it happens whenever you cast a spell.
Oh. Okay.
I read that.
Great, because I
Books.
read a lot of it and
Knowledge.
I was never able to read it fully. I rolled a 6. It's fine.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, it's whenever you cast a first level spell, and then whenever you cast a spell, period, after you use Tides of Chaos, or I have the DM option of being a dick, and just whenever you don't have it with Tides of Chaos, I can make you do it. Like, literally, you can just be like, well, I'm 5 minutes into my short rest, roll it.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm fine with this. It's fine.
So moving on, we then come up to Carradine. Cespedes, sorry, yes.
At least it's not just me.
Cespedes for the rest of us.
I'm make my way to the closest person, or it, or thing.
Is there anybody left in the alcove?
There's nothing left in the alcove.
Yeah.
But there is debris, barrels, wood. You kind of get the feeling that their MO is build a bonfire and burn down a door. So that's kind of what's left around here. If like literally the next closest thing is to start running back out into the army that's on the other side of this gate.
Right.
Unless you've got if you want, you can throw range weapons at them, which is what's kind of keeping them at bay. Or you can help grab some of stuff around, as the governor had suggested, and build a barricade for you guys to be behind while Miranda fixes the door.
I think I'll do that.
Okay. Roll me this can either be an athletics check or just a straight strength roll. And it's kind of like, what's the largest thing you can grab and drag over and set down?
Crap.
I got this twig.
Well, yes. I did roll a 1.
Okay.
But it's a 7 total.
You run over to because you see this barrel and you're like, oh my god, this barrel will be perfect, and you go to like lift it thinking it's going to be like empty. No, it's full of it's full of water. It's a rain barrel, and you just kind of like tweak your back a little bit for the next. Oh, you're lucky you. For the next 2 rounds,
that's not too bad.
You have disadvantage on strength checks.
Isn't this like the second? Wait, no, it was you
me.
the last time.
Yeah, stop throwing your backs out.
Shit. Picking up heavy stuff.
Strength. I rolled athletics. Is it still strength?
It's still strength because.
Okay.
Athletics is basically you're proficient in this strength thing. Because if you think about it because athletics to me kind of works if you think of like a professional weightlifter. So like to lift with your legs, not your back. But
Apparently
you did not.
Don't. You forgot that.
I did not.
Right there.
You forgot to do that. Anyway, so moving on. Now, Carradine, is your turn.
I'm going to drop my spear and pull out the longbow and just scan the audience out there and pick the shiniest, most high-level target I can.
Okay.
Somebody who's maybe pointing and telling others what to do.
Yeah, and what you know about this just from based on the last game, those are the people in like the deeper riches of purple.
Right.
You see that in both the kind of robed formed characters, and these are the ones that were actually actively slinging spells.
Right.
And then there are the deep purple armored guys who seem to be more kind of like lieutenants in general.
Okay. All right. That's an 18?
Yes, you hit a high level target easily.
And that's a D8. That is 10.
Okay. The high level target doesn't go down, and you hit this woman in these very deep purple robes wearing a very elaborate mask, and she does shriek and kind of recoil back further into the army.
Okay.
And she is letting out some kind of curse, but she's a little bit too far away with the sounds of war to really hear. The army is going to fire now. So, no, there's more targets than that. It's like I'm rolling all really close, but the target keeps moving. So, yeah, no. It's like it was like 10, 10, and then it's like, oh, okay, this one's going for Cespedes now. Hey, look, 18. That's not enough to hit Cespedes. All right, but yeah, so again, just more rocks and arrows and javelins come flying in, and they're either falling short or hitting the or being deflected off of shields. So now we are back to the top of the order, and Miranda again is like the whole continues to see like it's actually starting to form like solid doors, and it's all coming closer together. And as it does, you can hear the rattling as it's taking on damage from arrows and armor, or arrows and rocks.
Throwing pauldrons at the...
Like a helmet comes rolling in. Whose is that?
Somebody's greave just... It's fine.
Is that a symbol? No, it's nipple armor. It's Turkish nipple armor.
That's what they call it, Turkish delight.
Moving on. Not saying that joke, locking it away for later when it's not recorded. Okay. Zell, it is your turn.
Okay. Is there still enough of a hole for me to fire through without risking lighting the door on fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's actively repairing it.
But it's got a ways to go.
Yeah. And
Okay.
here's something fun just for me. I'm not going to penalize you against this, but roll an Arcana check.
Okay. I don't know. I got a 6.
Actually, you do know. This mend, whatever form of mending she's using, it's going way faster than the mend spells you've seen.
Spiffy.
It's kind of like, do you know what the mend spell does? It's a 0-level cantrip. Yes, you do. That's way too fast.
Very cool. No idea how she's doing that. Firebolt.
Yeah.
There we go. I got a 24.
Yeah, you actually hit a guy who was sitting up on a horse.
For 12 points of damage.
You don't knock him off his horse, but it does begin to rear and buck, and he spends his time now trying to regain control of it.
Okay.
Cespedes, it's your turn.
Do I know that she felt that spell's going faster?
No.
Okay. Dang. I know, but I don't know. Alright. I'm gonna try to pick up that barrel again.
Remember, you have disadvantage this time, so you got to roll and take the lowest.
That's 15.
Yeah, it's got the lid still on it, so what you kind of do is you kind of roll it over to its side, and you start to roll it over, and you're able to then heave it back up. And this actually really does, you roll it right up next to the governor, who he kind of then starts to lean against it, so it's now shielding more of his body. Miranda is still able to see over the shield, so she's able to see her target, and the governor looks at you and goes, good, see if you can't find another one. You bring on the other side.
Okay.
Rubbing the lumbar and like, all right, hang on.
Hey, he went into combat with a broken arm, bleeding.
I know.
Like, he went in and you're like, dude, you're like dead.
And Cespedes over there like, ow, my back. Ow.
My back. My neck and my back. I want 50,000.
Anyways, Carradine, it's your turn.
All right. Same thing. The next most important person out there. That is a 15.
That actually goes wide, because now between her hitting someone important and you hitting someone important, and then they're kind of being a little more aware, and with the commanders now under attack and the door starting to heal, you do actively at this point in time see that the fire, while it's still coming onto the door, is becoming less and less. Okay. Ooh. But a well-aimed arrow does actually get through and hit the governor, and he is starting to waver and slump over more. It's a good thing you brought that barrel, because he's leaning heavily up against it. Just as another arrow it's buried itself into his bad arm. You know, it's now we're looking at the question of, will you ever be able to use this arm again? Miranda, again, still just healing the door. You do have two physical doors at this point, but there is still a very large gash in the middle where even one of those drakes could find its way through. Zell, your turn. Everyone can still easily fire through.
Okay. Yep.
Though your targets are becoming a little bit more limited. At this point in time, no high-ranking official is visible.
Okay.
Then I'm aiming for the biggest thing I can see.
Okay, that would be a drake.
That's kind of what I figured.
Did you roll a 1?
You did.
Oh. Roll me some wild magic. Because that also triggers it. Oh, no, you didn't cast a spell. You just shot a...
No, that was a firebolt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, roll me.
Actually, on the table or another d20?
It's another d20.
Okay.
Technically, yeah, it's a d20 to see if you roll a 1.
Right. Oh, I did.
Oh, okay. Roll
Where's that
d100. Let's find out what happens.
Wide camera view of the whole city with the keep. The front gate goes...
I got a 5.
She did.
It's a thing that I've never heard of.
Uh-oh.
That's fun.
I gotta figure out what this thing is. I think it's a monster.
Oh, weird. Yeah. Huh.
We'll read it out loud.
I will in just a second.
I don't know what that is either.
You just summoned a monster?
Scary.
Yeah, I think I did.
God of Chaos opens a portal.
Jeez.
Give me the Mind Stone. I don't know what you're talking about.
We're all dead. Game over, man. Game over.
Oh, I lost the Mind Stone.
That's-
I've got a pebble here.
Got the back to an earring. I'll kill you all.
Oh, it's one of these things. Okay.
What is a these thing?
A jaguar.
Hold on, I gotta actually get it.
A jaguar.
Okay, so why didn't it find it then? If
Is that the cousin to the jaguar?
Yes, it is. That's what Winnie the Pooh says when he sees Tigger up in the tree with Roo. Is that a jaguar? Kids' books.
Yep.
oh, that's because they didn't actually put the full name in there. Okay. Oh, that's not so terrible. Monodrone.
Oh, why? That's weird that they would shorten that arbitrarily.
Yeah.
A little drone comes flying in from somewhere else.
Huh.
What the hell?
Because when you roll a 6, which is what you got on the D100, it's a Modron. That's what it says in the table. Controlled by the DM, appears in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you, then disappears 1 minute later. You look up Modron. There's nothing. You look up. So I went to like the monster manual. I looked at just constructs. No, I Googled Modron, and like they appear. Like, oh, it's one of these things. Okay, and then you go over to the actual monsters, and it's like, oh, it's a monodrone.
What does it look like?
It is a small clockwork creature.
Huh.
The picture that comes up on Wikipedia is awful from like a 2nd edition book.
Yeah, a small little
This is,
clockwork creature.
Wow.
that's the old picture.
It's
Yeah,
like my D4 just sprouted legs and arms,
Right.
walking around with an eyeball.
yeah, and it's got the one leg and a few arms, and this one actually comes with a little dagger, and it just looks up at you and goes, "What is my purpose?"
Oh, do you have a purpose? You have a purpose in life. Purposes. Oh, can you move things?
It starts to just walk over to a random rock, pick it up, moves it about 5 feet, sets it down, and it just proceeds to just very systematically walk around and do this,
Rearranging everything.
just rearranging it.
That's never happened before.
So
Does
next,
that mean my Tides of Chaos recharges?
yes, it does.
Okay.
So next, it is Cespedes. You see this just little clockwork thing, just like you see her and hear her do her incantation for her fire, but then instead of like fire, this is like you just hear this little portal appear from just below Zell, just going, whoa, and just out of it just pops up this little creature and just starts picking up rocks and moving them around.
As I just shake my head about that,
I'm also really excited about this for no reason.
She squeezed.
Oh, it's medium, so it's like the
Yay.
size of like a human being.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
so it can-
terrifying, man.
Yeah, I turned around and it was
Like
like,
a 5-foot D4.
do I need to roll a sanity?
No, you don't need to roll a sanity.
can you take things from over there and put them over there?
Right now, it's just
That's fine.
moving the rocks.
I thought it was smaller, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
so did I.
It's
Well,
all right.
expecting a D4 literally to be like,
Maybe it was still growing. Like the portal happened and it started out small.
It's one of those just add water kind of things.
The moisture in the air made it grow.
All right. So, Cespedes, what do you do?
I am going to take over for the governor.
Okay. You're gonna like get in front of him and just kind of like move
Yeah.
him. Okay. He actually resists you. Do a
persuasion.
try to do a persuasion to get him out of the way because he very much wants to be the defender of his people.
Yeah.
11.
It's kind of hard to argue when someone as large as you comes in and kind of physically moves you and you're dying. So you're able to just kind of like scoot him to the other side of the barrel, the correct side of the barrel, so that he's not getting hit, and you kind of turtle up with the shield.
as you sort of nudge him out of the way onto the backside of the barrel, and he finally has a chance to sit down, or not sit, but like lean back against it, take a panting breath, walking clockwork monster just carrying something right in front of him.
Walk by.
When did that get here? And whose side is it on?
I think it's fine. I think. I don't know. Maybe.
So moving further down, Carradine, it's your turn.
Same thing, just a random person on a horse or whatever. The most important thing I could shoot. That is a 24.
Yep,
Yeah.
that hits. You hit the same.
8 points of damage.
Okay, yeah, you hit the same Drake that she had hit before, and this actually does take it down, and it's
the Drake that she failed to hit.
the Drake that she failed to hit. Sorry, so it's still up and it's angry. It's still coming at it, but it then enters into that death zone of arrows and it gets perforated itself.
Okay.
It's very much a no-go zone. So at this point, the Escobert and his team, they've come around and they don't have shields or anything, but they still have all the hammers and tools and everything. And they start moving up along the sides of the wall, staying out, and they're making their way towards the door. And they're going to try to do the same thing. Just re-barricade that on up. So, Zell, it is your turn.
Okay, let's try that again. Without whatever that happened. Whatever is big. That time I probably hit it. That's a 20.
Yes.
Okay. See, all I needed to do was, I guess that. Or
A monocled monodrome.
like 5 points of damage to whatever it is.
Okay. Yeah, you take out a cobalt. The monodrone walks over, picks up like a log that's on the ground, walks over and just kind of like sets it standing upright on top of the barrel, and then proceeds to just scuttle around some more.
Can you move things?
I don't know what it is. It's the first thing that came to mind.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Happy dance while we finish.
Yeah, I'm just like reading through this as we're going over, as we're sitting here, and it's like monodrones perform one task: absolute law and order, absolute hierarchy.
It's like a Mr. Meeksies from
Yeah.
Rick and Morty.
And I have no concept of law and order, so I'm like, all right, that's neat.
So you gave it its purpose, which is to move things. So it's moving things.
Next time I'll be more specific. If I ever manage to get that exact combination of I'm not sure what. Again.
It could have been way worse. Oh my god.
I know. It's exciting. I've actually avoided reading that table because I don't want to know. I just want to roll the dice.
Elder Dragon.
Well, one of them is fireball, level 3 fireball centered on you.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm telling you.
Immediate death.
no, it's not just immediate death. It's like the doors are re-blown open. Everyone near you guys, you just you. Not only did you end the campaign, you handed it over to the level 1 people.
Yeah. Was it like 5d6 or 5d8 damage for a level 3?
I think it's 5d6. Yeah.
Yeah, something impressive.
Yeah, it's roll for reflex.
Yeah. That's great. It's great. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Look, it could have been.
Yeah, this is just a creepy thing walking around moving stuff.
Nobody got hurt, and I think we're fine. Moving on.
Okay. Cespedes, it's your turn. Do you just stay turtled?
Yes, I do not change my attitude.
Okay. Because you're turtled up and you've got the barrel, we're going to consider you having 3/4 cover, so you have a total of +4 onto your AC. So just remember that for right now.
Okay.
Carradine, your turn.
Same thing. Rinse and repeat. That is a 13.
You fire your arrow, and it just seems to go wide with the door, and just you're not able to hit anything. But Escobert and his team, they get up there and they start the portions that are already together, they start hammering and closing those, and now with their assistance and the mending spell, the door is actually able to be fully closed. And even though it is closed, they are now again grabbing everything they can and moving it up to the door. And for the remaining 45 seconds, the monodrone actually gets upset when anytime it touches something they've moved, and he actively like shoves them down, grabs his thing, and puts it back.
I'm just standing in the corner like, I want to apologize, but I'm also giggling. Like, don't know what this is, but it's funny.
The governor, he's just barely conscious, again, thanks you and attempts to stand up, but is unable to. Escobert has to come over and help lift him, and they carry him inside to be healed.
Okay.
And for the moment, between the arrows going one way and the arrows going the other, you are very much at a standstill.
Okay.
So you're able to come back inside and attempt to rest again.
Okay.
Okay. That was fun.
There, and as you come back into the courtyard, you see just this little lizard guy rolling around with now a completely empty gin bottle.
Oh, I pet him on the head.
One of the guards immediately starts running up and goes, "Another one got in! There must be a hole somewhere!"
Wait, no, he's fine. He,
What?
see, he's fine. I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but he's fine.
Again, he's just kind of like looking at me and goes, fine, fine. Try. Roll me a persuasion.
I know.
Because 2 minutes ago, this thing was actively killing its friends.
I know, and it's fine. I know. 18.
His sword remains sheathed, but he does kick at the kobold and kicks the kobold squarely in the chest.
Oof.
Sending it back onto his sending him back, and it does actually knock the kobold out.
Oh, okay, that's fine. It's fine, really. I didn't know what it was going to do next, but I think it's fine. You don't have like a room with a lock on it, do you?
You mean a cell? Yes, we have cells.
Oh, okay. Do you have more alcohol?
He's kind of confused.
Simple question.
I'm sure we've got some wine somewhere. This normally is the governor's residence.
Perhaps a collar?
As long as it's shiny, might wear it.
Rusty steel it is. And they come back up with like some leg manacles and that were made for like a human, and they put it around his neck, and they take him down to the to a cell, and they kind of throw him in there. No one does anything to check to see if he's breathing.
That's fine. I don't think about that either, but I do give him a blanket and whatever alcohol I can find.
I give up my bottle of cheap gin to her.
Oh, okay. I pour some of it into his bottle.
Because it was full. I think we took like 2 sips out of it.
Right. I drank most of mine, but I'm giving the kobold some of it and keeping some more just in case.
Okay. We will find out what happens. I've already rolled his death saving throws, and when you choose to address that again, we will come back to that.
Okay. This is very whimsical, so I'm not really thinking this one through. It's fine. I think he's fine.
It's all fine.
I think it's fine.
So, you all end up, again, taking some more time to rest and get bandaged and have arrows removed and replenish. And just as dawn is rising, you hear from outside a very loud horn blast and a very deep, raspy voice. I challenge one of your champions. Escobert, now being the active de facto leader, moves up to the parapet.
I'll go up with him.
Okay.
Did I get a full rest from another 4 hours?
And it's not even another 4 hours. Yeah, you were maybe hour and a half, 2 hours away from dawn.
Okay.
So it's like 6 a.m. now. And it's like the very beginning of dawn.
Okay.
And as you go up onto the parapet looking out, you see, and he's not necessarily like in the shadows, but the sun hasn't quite reached to him yet, a very large creature. And as the sun continues to rise up and the flames have died down, you do begin to see more of him. You see his blue scales, his very dark dented armor, and he is just very well clad. He is the most heavily armed and armored creature out there, and he is just covered in blood. And again, he just screams up to you, "Defenders of Greenhist, this has been a successful night, and I'm feeling generous." And you see him reach out from behind him, and he flags forward, and a group of kobolds push out some people. A woman, a teenage boy, and 2 children, all heavily bloodied and tied up. "Your champion defeats me in single combat. My troops will leave, and they will live. For every 10 minutes I have to wait for a response, one of them dies." From back behind you up onto the parapet, you see one of the bandaged fighters start breathing heavily. Just like, that's my family. I'll fight him. I'll fight him. Give me a shield. Give me a sword. And he's just actively trying to push himself up, but he had been bedridden since the dragon attack.
Now, you said blue scales, but and armored. Is this the dragon, or is this something else?
Roll
humanoid?
me a intelligence check. Arcana or nature will also work.
Oh, good.
May I roll divine sense?
I got a 7.
Okay. What does divine sense do?
Presence of strong evil registers on your senses like a noxious odor. Powerful good rings like heavenly music. As an action, you can open your awareness to detect such forces until the end of your next turn. You know the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead. Oh, within 60 feet. I assume he's further than that.
Yeah, because he's down kind of at the bottom of the hill, and you guys are up on top of the parapet. But anyone can roll the knowledge or arcana, the intelligence check, or they can use either arcana or nature. So I know you rolled the 7. Does anyone else want to try it real quick?
I'll give it a try. Yep.
Nope.
Okay. You're not sure what he is, but he is most certainly not the dragon you fought earlier.
Okay.
He does kind of have more of a feral and brutal appearance. And the closest thing you've seen to this would be almost if you put together like a hybrid of one of the ambush drakes with Cespedes.
Yeah.
He is bipedal. He has a long tail. Again, this one is all with blue scales. He has a very large single horn protruding up from his, I guess it would be forehead where it meets his snout. He is wielding this very sickly-looking spear. He has a sword strapped to his belt, and he's wearing purple and gold scaled armor.
Okay.
I'm down 10 hit points. Cespedes, what do you think?
Okay.
I'm
Are you hurt at all?
I would.
No. Based on my character, yes, I will go out and face him.
Okay.
Is there any? Do you have any pre-spells you could do that would help you out?
I do not have spells currently. I have not been able to take a long rest.
As Cespedes, as you move to fight for people who are, again, not your family and are complete strangers to you, again, you become filled with that same spiritual essence that you had before when you were blessed by the priest of Bahamut, as well as Escobar stops you for just a brief moment, putting his hand on your chest, and you kind of feel something pressing up against you, and there is another vial like you've seen before. Here's another healing potion. He just looks and goes, "Take it, lad. It's all we can do right now."
Which fighting style did you take? Great weapon?
Yes. Which unfortunately does not give me a shield if I want to use it.
So, do you take the potion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you drink it now or do you save it?
I'll save it.
Okay. So, and it does take you, because you had your small discussion, it does take you a minute to get down there.
So does that same feeling give me my spells?
You get one spell.
Yes.
I'm going to give you one spell because this is heroic, and I'm going to reward those things. Because you are facing this guy, a completely unknown assailant, and some creature you've never seen before in single combat for essentially saving the town and these other people. And as you and he's begins to, and what you guys see up top on the parapet, he is actively pacing around, and he's taking his spear and he's tapping each of them on the back of the head, like trying to pick which one it's going to be. And he begins to raise his spear up over their heads right as the doors open, and Cespedes, you come out. And when he sees you, at first the foe, like, it's almost in disbelief, like, somebody actually, what? He sees that you're the one coming, and he just becomes filled with, you see his face have both a mixture of confusion and rage. And as you get closer, Cespedes, you can see he resembles very closely to that of a chromatic dragon, but bipedal. And you have seen chromatic dragonborns before, and he's definitely not that, but that's kind of the closest thing you've been able to see before coming up to this. And he just kind of says, and upon getting closer, he just kind of spits to his side and goes, "No time for introductions for filth like you." Roll initiative.
Thanks.
14.
Okay. You go first.
All right. Whoops.
The two of you are about 30 feet from each other.
30 feet. Okay. Let me see. Would he be considered a creature?
No. He is definitely humanoid.
All right. Yeah, we'll do it anyway. All right. I'm going to cast a spell. Thunderous Smite. So the first time you hit with a melee weapon attack during the spell's duration, your weapon rings with thunder that is audible for 300 feet, or within 300 feet, and the attack deals 2d6 thunder damage to the target.
Oh, okay.
It lasts for a minute.
Nice.
Awesome. As you do this, the kobolds release the three children, who immediately run like in a full-on sprint past everyone into the keep. They continue to hold on to the woman.
Oh, she's dead. All right, here we go. Let's get him. 22.
That hits.
Yeah. Whew. And then 5 plus 4 plus 2d6. crap.
It's 2d6 of what kind of damage?
Thunder. Sound, I guess.
Okay.
It's its own type.
Vibration.
Yeah, thunder is a specific type.
All right. 15 damage.
All right. You hit him solidly, and he takes it, and he's just very solidly in his chest.
And the echoes of that. We can
Yeah, it
hear
just
on
kind of
the
like
castle walls.
everyone just kind of hears it, and it starts going, He begins to swing at you with his great sword. 20 is a miss. 21.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so he ties your AC, so he hits.
I make that same face and take a pull off the gin bottle and then offer it to you sideways.
I take it.
He kind of he allowed himself to be hit so he could absorb the blow, and he just twists his side real quick. The first sweep going short, but the second one coming back across, landing solidly into your side. 12 points of damage.
Ooh.
Oh, man. That hurt. Oh, that's healing, though. Not healing. Damage.
You still got your lay on hands, don't you, for 5 points?
Yeah.
It is your turn.
All right. Well, can I heal and attack?
No, you'll be able to do one or the other.
No.
Because you don't
Okay.
have... There are some healing spells that are bonus action. You don't have any of those.
Right. Okay. I'm just going to attack.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. 14.
That is a miss. You were kind of knocked back with that first big swing, or that second big swing. And he comes back at you again with two more swipes of his great sword, both missing. Back to you.
All right. Going after him again. Do it with a 22.
That hits.
Kick his butt with an 11. Nope, that can't be right. Yes, it can. I can't add.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, again, you hit him, which makes him kind of like wince to one side again as you just clash. It's these two just draconic warriors with great swords beating each other. And all of his blows seem to just like slide off your armor, not really being able to find purchase at this point.
Thank God.
Did your breath weapon recharge?
Yeah,
How much does it do?
but he's
But he's blue.
he's
Oh,
blue, so I'm
yeah.
thinking he's probably
Immune to lightning.
lightning. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna take my potion of healing.
Okay.
Pop the cork.
Okay. Yeah, taking it out and drinking it, that doesn't provoke any attacks opportunity or anything like that, so you're good.
Ooh, I healed 8. I'm so excited.
All right, on his turn, he's going to take a swing at you. That's a miss. It's a miss. And after those two swings, he does just kind of let out a large rage yell. He swings again. Until he does finally hit you.
How many attacks does he get in a row?
Action surge. You get to make your attack
Oh.
again, because he's got level and fighter.
Yeah.
And he does. He hits you again very solidly this time for 15 points of damage this time.
How far away is this happening?
It's happening just in front of the
The death zone.
yeah, where that death zone was. So it's like with a bow and arrow, yes, you technically could hit the fighters probably at this point.
Okay. This longbow's like 600 feet at the maximum range. 150. Yeah.
The,
150 short.
the max range of the longbow is like the city at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, bummer.
So
How much did you heal back?
What's
How much
that?
did you heal back from your potion?
I had healed 8, brought me back to 18. Now I'm down to 3. Yeah. So I'm just gonna. Oh, jeez. Okay, I'm gonna attack. Okay, let's do it.
Take a
Come
step back and heal yourself that 5 points.
he doesn't have to take a step back.
You could just do it.
He can just do it.
Delay on hands.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that 8 is gonna do anything for me.
It might. You never know. Might as well expend it all now instead of dying with a healing surge left.
True. Okay, I'll do it.
You heal yourself again? Okay.
Yep, for 5.
Okay. He laughs at you, calling you a coward before taking his attacks again. Missing both times.
Dick, you whiffed.
He's beating down just like a hammer on top of you. It's hard for you to stand.
Now I stand up and do this. 21.
Yes, that hits.
All right. And come on, baby. 6 damage.
He's starting to look a little battered himself. He's definitely having a little bit more labored breathing, but he is still standing. He takes his swings back at you. and he's just not giving up any ground. He's actively trying to press forward upon you, which is kind of interesting for you because he is a slightly larger opponent, which you are not generally used to. You're used to being the big guy swinging down, and you almost have to block up to him.
20.
That hits.
9 points of damage. Please die.
Still standing. You catch him huge in the side, and he lets out a roar of pain, and you see lightning start to crackle around his mouth as he continues to swing.
Not to use the lightning.
Misses with both of those.
Yes. Kill you now. 16.
Miss. You. This one you tend to. You got distracted by his mouth, knowing all too well what that could mean, and because while you're resistant to lightning, you're not immune to its damage, and this causes your swing to go wide.
Okay.
He hits.
Uh-oh.
For like min damage, 5. Just it's very much just this battle of the two, and like he Cespedes recharges whatever little bit he can, but every time he does, he loses a little bit of ground to the onslaught of this draconic champion, and who just
26.
That is a hit.
And 10 points of damage.
If he's not immune to your lightning, I just fucking light him up. If he's just resistant, that was it a half damage or a quarter?
It's half. And then there's if he makes the save on it, then that is halved again.
Yeah.
So
my sword is I only get a 2d6 damage on it, and then it'd be halved, so it's only a d6 damage
On your lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he can end up having that again. So
Yeah. So my sword's a better bet right now.
Yeah.
but your sword is just coated in his blood, as his is also coated in yours. As the two of you just are doing everything you can to stay standing and swing.
Please miss. Nope. He didn't
No,
miss.
he missed. He missed because the thing is, he keeps rolling like 19, like his totals are like 19, 20, 19, 20, 18, 19, 20, and you get that 21 AC, which puts you just just out of reach of where he's been. So like for us, because we're rolling the dice, it's not very intense. But like if this was like in a movie, it would very much be those guys heavily trading and guarding attacks to each other.
26.
That's a hit.
5 points of damage.
What is your bonus to hit?
6.
That's what mine is.
Wait, so
So you've been rolling natural 20s?
Yeah.
Every time
this is
you roll,
why I asked.
every time you roll a 20, you do double damage.
Oh yeah.
You double the dice.
Yeah. You roll your dice twice and add it all together.
Oh right. I kind of knew that.
I assumed he had like a 7 or
That's
something.
kind of what I thought too, and then it
And-
happened again, and I was like, "Hang on!" But he's not adding 7 to his.
Oh, so that's a 10 then.
Yeah.
There you
Instead
go.
of a
Okay.
5.
Well, either way, he had 1 hit point left.
Yes.
So he was dead last turn. He just didn't know it.
Wouldn't epic if he would have hit him with the lightning, even if he would have saved taking 1
Yeah,
point,
right.
just frying and falling over.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But yeah, so you.
I cheer, I scream.
No, right.
Hands up in the
Savior
air.
yelling.
Cespedes.
More gin and then more yelling.
Cespedes.
I'm gonna crawl out and hope none of the little lizards kill me.
As you crawl out, you bring your sword.
First, though, I'd like to chop his horn off and take that as a trophy.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of like fall onto him with your great sword and just kind of like draw it across his whole body so you fall onto him and you draw your sword across his whole body, just bleeding him out, and you're pressing it so hard down on him that you actually have a little bit of blood come out of your own hand. And then finally you use it takes the rest of your strength just to like plant the sword and pick yourself up. To cheers coming out of the parapets from behind you. Many of the kobolds now make up the vast majority of the ranks of the cultists, end up start looking back and forth very nervously. And as they were the ones that were holding the woman captive, they just kind of let and run, fleeing. Many of the cultists that were there still just kind of going, "What do we do now?" Until finally you actually hear one of the cultists from the back, this very high, shrill woman's voice, nursing an arm, starts screaming, just, "Shoot him!
Oh, I shoot her.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, it's a race.
Yeah, right.
You go first. Ladies first.
Please,
Okay.
please save me.
Tides of Chaos.
Okay.
I found that.
Does a 15 hit her?
I have to check. Hold on.
Okay.
'Cause she's one of the ranking cultists, and I don't have that memorized.
Yeah.
Did I get saved?
I don't know yet.
You might have. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Please hold.
Please hold.
Enhancing.
Enhance. You said a 15?
15.
It does.
Nice.
It matches her armor class.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Son of a bitch. She takes 4 points of damage.
Your spell hits her,
And it
and
was an arrow.
okay, your arrow hits her, and again she lets out another shriek and disappears down into the masses. Roll, roll yours because you both fired.
It's a 17.
Yeah, hits.
Oh, 6 points of damage.
Okay, and again, so she gets hit with just 2 arrows, again, like in her shoulder and arm, and she shrieks again and just sinks back down into the masses once more, hopefully learning her lesson about screaming in front of armies, because apparently every time she does, arrows just find her. But with with their champion gone and their leader structure being heavily damaged and the kobolds leaving, the cultists proceed to start leaving as quickly as they can again. But again, they seem to stop off at places along the way and continue to grab more just things from the town as they continue to go. So it's definitely a leaving wave, but they are in fact leaving in a wave. Cespedes, you carve off his horn,
Yes.
breathing very heavily. You take a quick examination of what he's holding or what he has on him, and you do find 2 potions of healing.
Awesome.
And he has... They don't appear to be of anything special, but he does have on him some splint mail, a great sword, and a spear.
I will take all those things. What'd you say? Split mail?
Splint. And the splint mail is that purple and gold, like kind of almost scaly looking mail with some... This actually kind of almost gives you, because it's made for someone of a draconic bloodline like you, it almost works as a disguise, had you not been a bronze... Had you not been of the bronze persuasion, this might have worked as a disguise for you.
Oh, well.
All right. So you are, of course, welcomed in back to the keep as a hero, and immediately healers have come to you and have started trying to patch you up as best they can, stopping any bleeding they can, and assuring you that as soon as any of them have any healing spells left, they will apply them to you aptly, so that we can ensure that you don't lose any, fingers, toes, or anything like that. The horn that you've taken from him still pulsates with a very deep electricity. While you can't use it here and now, you do imagine you would be able to use this the same way you would use an actual blue dragon's horn in terms of weaponry or armor or just magical material.
Nice.
Very cool.
So how will I add that?
I would just call it small blue dragon's horn.
Okay.
And we'll find somebody who can do something with it later for money.
Yeah.
Right. This is one of those call it a rare material.
Okay.
And one thing you do know is while you taking a blue dragonborn's, because they kind of have the smaller horns on their nose too. If you take those though, they don't crinkle with the same draconic aura that this one has. So whatever was in his blood made him much more. Well, it did not make him a full dragon. It made him much more draconic than your whole species.
All right.
Almost as if he was a dragon himself.
That killed me a dragon.
Dragon-ish. All right. So as you're all taken in, you're all given rest. The soonest any of you are really considering moving, because it's been because you had a hard ride the night before.
Yep.
You had a very, very full evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though you did get a few hours of rest, it's still there's still nothing like a full 8. So you guys do, but the two non-combative wood elves are the first ones up, and you're up and moving
Okay.
probably by late noon.
Okay.
Cespedes, you are out, just sleeping off the worst hangover ever. And you actually do. You have one of the acolytes that you guys saved from the sanctuary. He has been designated your bed nurse,
Nice.
and is making sure that you have cool claws on your head and that you are as comfortable as possible, giving you the heroic treatment that you deserve, that they are
Nice.
able to muster at this point.
I do deserve it.
Towards the late afternoon, when you guys start to go out, Escobar is now taking a census of who is here, what conditions they are in, and as people sign off, basically saying here, they proceed to go out into the town to look for more survivors and to assess the damage and gather food and essentially start to pick their lives back up.
Yeah.
At some point, I find a flagon of water and then go see how my kobold is doing.
You go down into the dungeon and you see lying just in a lump on the ground the kobold. They do not stop you from opening, so if you open and you go in, roll me a quick perception.
15.
While he doesn't appear to have moved, the gin bottle that you filled is in fact empty.
Oh, good. I leave the water, and then I leave.
And as you leave, he rolls back over, starts patting there, and we're like he's drunkenly looking for something.
Right. Oh, good. I feel better. Go see if I can help with something else.
Now that he's had time to be seen to and has let someone see to him, the governor of Night Hill has been healed himself, and he is sitting in his chambers, and he actually does ask for, when you guys start coming back to consciousness, asking you to come see him as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
When the two of you come in to his chambers, he immediately has food put out for you. It's a really thick, rich stew, some bread, and small pieces of ham. And he apologizes, saying that that's all that they have at the time, and that you have earned clearly more than this.
It's all good. Everything's good.
It's fine.
As you guys sit and eat, he looks around and goes, "And I regret to ask more of you. We've had a rather quick census taken, and while we know it is possible that there are people possibly still in hiding, possibly still in the woods, we know they took some of our people away, and we don't know why they did it to begin with. If I am to protect my people, if I am to keep them safe, prevent any more harm, I have to at least know why.
Okay.
I am not going to ask you to do this for free, though.
Okay.
If you take this on, I'm well aware you're saying yes.
She puts her hand out.
He goes, upon your, you will be replenished. Anything that you use in the fight, you will be replenished, and anything else we can give you to help, we will. Upon finding out and bringing back whoever you can, I need to know where these monsters came from, where they are now, and why.
Okay.
Upon completion, I will give you each 350 gold pieces.
Oh, done.
I reach for
You're
another
asleep.
roll.
As you hear me
Off
yell
to the
from
distance.
the other room.
Yes.
All of a sudden, there's like a weird lump forms, and your acolyte tries to heal it, but it only seems to grow larger. With
Quick, lay on hands. Again and again and again and again.
You are.
Oh, it's
kinda
finally going down.
dragony.
It's all right.
It's fine. The idea
Oh,
is the
God.
idea of money is
Yeah.
it's an aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Governor Nighthill also proceeds to tell you, goes, and that will just be the payment for this reconnaissance task. We will find a way to repay you for.
Maybe a small villa or something we can call a base or a home.
I've never had a house. It might be nice for a while anyway.
There's no real villas around here in my village, but
That's weird. You'd think that a village would have villas. Huh.
however, if we do find that there is empty residence, I would see no problem with you taking on one of those.
All good.
I have a feeling that happens a lot, where she just says things and everybody just keeps talking because it's easier than trying to deal with that.
Just being weird again. Just keep going.
Smile and nod, smile and nod.
The municipal herbs that are going through Governor Knight Hill seem to make it very hard for him to focus, so he only picks one or two topics to...
That's fine.
It's fine. I grab another roll.
He does say, while he understands the need to get out there as quickly as possible to save as many people as possible, he also understands the taxations of the night before, and if you need to rest, he fully understands.
We'll head out when Cespedes wakes up.
And has eaten, etc. He gets hungry and things get weird.
I'm sure that's the only time.
He likes raw chicken.
Yeah, there's a time he ate part of a kobold. Wait, or was it a drake?
Oh.
He carved the leg off of something.
That was like 2 hours ago.
I know.
Like 4 hours ago.
But I think I slept,
Ugh.
whatever, since then. It's
Still
fine.
got like stuck in his teeth.
I know.
Toenail.
It's probably all gristly. Takes another bite of stew. This is delicious.
Do you want to take some ham to your buddy?
Ooh, ham. Pocket ham.
Pocket ham. All right. Yeah, I finished the stew and head back out.
Sorry, that phrase is in my head since you said ham, and I just remembered where it came from. So.
Pocket ham.
I think it's a good place to call it. It's 1:45.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll pick up back with you and Pocket Ham next week.
Are we still second level?
No, you guys are now third level.
Dun, dun, dun. Do I multi-class? Damn.
I don't, because I'm a sorcerer.
Actually, you can.
I know, but I don't want to because I like this.
You don't want to like multi-class into, say, Warlock and have a patron now telling you to do chaotic things?
Yeah, I've thought about it, but no.
It's just a
that
voice in your
seems-
head. It isn't a real person.
It still seems too structured.
I have 31 max hit points.
Oh, right. We're taking max hit points? Is that what we're doing? Because there's
Yes.
the three of us?
Because there's only 3 of you, you're taking max hit points. We started you off a level higher. So between max hit points and being a level higher, it makes kind of getting through these quicker.
And it's still, like, that was still a fight that I'm, like, nail biting. It's fine.
Yeah.
So.
It's one of those, like, I've been playing this goddamn game for so long. It's like, yeah, I know exactly how to dial this.
Dungeons & Dragons is property of Wizards of the Coast. Please visit dnd.wizards.com to purchase your copy of the game today. The opening and closing music, Epic, is property of Ben Sound. Check them out at bensound.com for more royalty-free music. This has been a production of Gaming Without Gaming, all rights reserved. You may download only material displayed and identified on the site as specifically available for downloading. Such material is for non-commercial, personal use only, provided you also retain all copyright and other proprietary notices contained on the materials. You may not, however, distribute, modify, transmit, reuse, repost, or use the content of the site for public or commercial purposes, including the text, images, audio, and video without our written permission.